welcome to the preview show as we look ahead to a massive week here on EMTV. In part one of the preview show this week, we speak to Mitchell Davey and his father-in-law Colin Caffery, of course, Glasgow legend, bit of a family affair there. Also coming up in tonight's show, we get to know Sam Masters, and of course we have Mike's blast from the past. Mitchell, I'm going to come to you first, just as a wee recap to last week's meetings. Obviously we went down to Peterborough, got a point there, kept ourselves top of the table. The camp must be happy at the minute.
Yeah, it was a really good feeling amongst all the boys. You know, I don't think a lot of people expected a lot of us, you know, to be missing Mark and Eric to do the meeting at Peterborough. You know, they're a tough home side to come up against. So, you know, to run it as close as we did was, you know, fantastic. And yeah, everyone chipped in, so it was the best result possible.
Graham mentioned in the Friday Focus to Ricky, but perhaps this would galvanise the team. Is that what kind of happened essentially? There was a wee bit extra drive among the boys to get a result?
I don't know whether, you know, I think without expectations, like, I think everyone just enjoyed themselves and rode and, you know, raced on a good track, and it seemed to suit nearly everyone. So yeah, in a way it'll help the boys, you know, as a unit, building confidence and things like that. But yeah, just I think because we went there with no expectations, knowing it would be tough without Eric and Mark. So yeah, you can only you know, see the benefits that it's had. You know, everyone was buzzing after the meeting, but yeah, preparing for a long drive home at the same time.
And preparing for a big derby this week. That must be perfect preparation going into this Friday's match.
Yeah, you know, you couldn't ask for a better confidence builder. You know, also with you know, Sam having a busy weekend, and Josh also riding with his injury. You know, they've worked out, you know, they can continue riding, and you know, you see some of the races. Well, if you were there seeing some of the races, or if you've seen on Facebook some of the races that have gone around, you know, it didn't hold the boys back. So to know that they're not racing with any injuries, you know, it really helps the build up for this weekend.
Of course. Also coming up in tonight's show, we'll also speak to Tigers team manager Stewart Dickson ahead of Friday's match, but we're going to catch Colin's thoughts here. Colin, you've seen the Tigers a couple of times this season. You impressed?
Yeah, pretty good. There's top heavy. Obviously, three really good heat leaders, and the young lads. It's great to see young lads. Obviously, there's still young Mr. Bailey for yourselves, and the other week was 15-point maximum. It was quite amazing, really.
Yeah.
So it's good to see the good mix of young guys and the experienced guys.
Obviously, there's a wee bit of a family affair coming on here. One derby, one roof, two different sides of the divide. What's the emotions here? You're still a Tiger at heart?
Well, all the time. I must apologise to all the Tigers fans for harbouring a Monarch within my abode. But it's something I never thought would happen, but there you go, my daughter met a speed rider and the rest is history, as they say. So yeah, it's good to have the bikes about, and as you can see in the workshop, it's always busy, and it's a good feeling having the bikes about. Having a Monarch about, that's a different story.
Any words of advice for Mitchell?
Yeah, don't beat Glasgow. How's that?
Of course, Colin, you're a veteran of derbies, big derbies in Powder Hall, Shawfield, I think it would have been, Blantyre.
More Powder Hall, I would say.
More Powder Hall.
Yeah.
What derbies kind of stick in the memory here? There must be ones that kind of stand out. I mean, over I think a 10-year kind of stint with the Tigers, there must be ones that kind of stand out.
Well, I don't know, it's maybe just my way of thinking, but I always thought it meant more to the Scottish boys racing one another as it would to foreigners coming into these teams, and they might not realise the importance of beating your local rival, i.e. the Monarchs, but it was really, you needed it. You need the rivalry to bring the people in, and it's great. And what a feeling it is to ride in these meetings. It's amazing. Absolutely brilliant.
Do you think the rivalry stood the test of time, really?
I think it comes and goes, but I would say it's building up really strong, and the Monarchs will obviously want revenge for 2 weeks back when they came to Glasgow. I knew it's under floodlights at Saturday night. It's fantastic. It's far better than Sunday. Sundays, you used to fall asleep on Sunday. It's far better.
We've seen changes within Glasgow over kind of the last couple of years now, with the Facenas coming in, absolutely transforming the whole track, transforming the club. As a Glasgow man, that must fill you with joy anyway to see a team that's actually challenging for titles now.
Oh, I have to thank Jerry and Michael for doing us a favour and making me a paying customer. It was great when they came in because all the rubbish get ripped out and they put in the investment that you've seen in place. Place is amazing, absolute transformation. So to pop along now and support my team, absolutely no pressure with lights failing or this or that. It's great.
Mitch, we'll get into Friday's match. Obviously over the last couple of weeks, as you said in the press release this afternoon, maybe just getting the 3 rides, you're determined to get that 4th ride this week and kind of prove a point slightly.
Yeah, it's just, you know, you want those opportunities. You want your races that, you know, you've written up in the program. It's the biggest thing. You know, Peterborough, I felt like I was having a good one, and you know, I was taken out of my rides, but I don't know whether it affected the result or not. I didn't really look too much into it. You know, it was hard because I felt I rode good, so I didn't want to make it too much of a negative, you know, because it does give you a sort of bad vibes if you're doing something wrong. But yeah, I felt good. I had a good night on Saturday night for Stoke as well, so it was sort of just a rolling motion. So I just got to keep those positive vibes heading into Friday, and you know, if I keep going in the way I'm going now, you know, I feel I'm starting to really make strides. So you know, it shouldn't be too long before I'm getting my 4 rides, hopefully more.
Colin, you must have been in this position yourself at some point through your career where you've been frustrated that things maybe aren't quite going your way, but what would the advice to Mitchell be to kind of get through the other side of that?
Well, I suffered the exact same thing. Riding at number 2 on the away tracks, the number 8 heat was an easy heat, so 9 times out of 10 I might have been taken out and Steve got put in because we might have been getting absolutely thumped. And you can imagine on the road, I had 3 great heat leaders. It was always the Steve Lawson show, and you know, it was hard, but you've just got to, you're there as a team, man. So it's all about the team. It's not really about the individual, I don't think. So either you accept it or you don't. But it's for the good of the team. Then if you've got to sit one out, you just need to try harder. And as Mitchell says, try and get that right.
Do you think back in your time in Speedway there was more emphasis on the team rather than kind of individuals?
Oh, you do, absolutely. I mean, Jimmy Beaton in his day and Davey Thompson, they were amazing. We had to win at all costs at home. You know, when we went down the road, I think Jimmy forgot about us to make him back. You know, but it was imperative to beat, and especially if it was Edinburgh. These matches are amazing, and I can't stress that enough. The rivalry is fantastic, and I was fortunate enough to be able to get in and help out the track staff for a wee while and see it from the back end and see the passion that everybody's got for their team. And it's absolutely incredible, the amount of effort all these people put in behind the scenes that the fans never see, you know, week to week, and they're there every season. The clubs couldn't run without these people, so it's great.
Obviously Edinburgh took a big support to Ashfield in a couple of Saturdays back. Glasgow will no doubt take a big crowd through Armadale as well. How important is that for the guys when they're going onto the track and to see the red and white everywhere at Armadale?
It obviously adds to the pressure a bit when you're riding, but you know, it can sometimes make you perform better as well. So the bigger the crowd, the bigger the stage, you know, you should perform to your best, and that's what it's all about. It's fantastic, as I say, and you know, the derby's the thing for me. You know, you can take all the other teams. Obviously, I rode for Berwick and Paisley as well, but you know, there was no meeting like Glasgow and Edinburgh. You look forward to them.
We're going to catch up with Colin a wee bit more, but now we're going to hear from Glasgow team manager Stewart Dickson ahead of Friday's match. Stewart, obviously, by Monarch's own admission, had a very bad night here a couple of weeks ago. Do you take confidence from that meeting into Friday's match?
I don't think any 2 derby meetings are ever the same, Scott, to be honest with you. It was our home match. Edinburgh, a different proposition, run their own track at Armadale. We rode particularly well. A week passing Saturday night, obviously Dan Bewley had his best meeting of the season for us, which was a big help. And I think it was a combination that Edinburgh weren't at their best and we were very, very good. So no doubt they'll be out for revenge, but obviously we're going there looking for points again. It's a hard place to go, but we have riders that can race the place. But certainly, Edinburgh with a lot stronger team around their own patch, but we know that that they're pretty good there, and we'll need to be on our toes to get anything. And I think the plan is to get something, whatever that may be. We don't know yet, but it's going to be tough. We're under no illusions just how difficult it's going to be. That they're pretty good around there, and the form that Mark Riss is in at the tail end, it gets them over the line in most matches. Certainly Armadale, yeah.
Just looking at your away form this season, you got a good point at Ipswich last week. Would that really be what you would hope to achieve in most meetings, keep yourself in it right to the very last?
I think so. It's you're on your travels, and we know whoever finishes top, you don't win the championship. Everybody knows that before the start of the season. So you're going away from home. I think every club's the same. You're looking to target a minimum 1 point. Anything else you get on top of that is a bonus. So for us to get a point at Ipswich, I think was a good point for us. Nobody else has managed to achieve that yet. I know it's early on in the season, but it could be a tough place for other clubs to go and get a point. So we could have had more with a bit of misfortune, and they had a very good guest in James Shanes, but that's how it goes. Credit to them for picking a good guest. When we all pick a good guest, you like to sit back and say, you know, we made a smart choice there. So fair play to them for getting it. But on another night, we might have got a wee bit more. So the plan of attack on Friday will be the minimum of a point. And when you get during the meeting, you know, you maybe say to yourself, maybe we could get a wee bit more here. But the point is always the minimum requirement. Some places, if teams are weak on the night, you will look to maybe target something else. But as it stands at the moment, I thought apart from Night Luna being injured, both teams will be at full strength. So we'll go there looking for the minimum of a point. But Richie Worrell's been there, Richard Lawson's been there already this season through the guest facility which we spoke about. So we've got riders who can race there. Obviously Anne Summers raced for the Monarchs before. Dan Bewley was there last season. It's the bottom end. We need to get going to obviously stand any sort of chance of getting a result through there.
That was going to be my next question. Sure, obviously we've seen guys at Armadale this season already. Richie went very well, Richard. But is it imperative for your top three to have a good meeting if you are to challenge Edinburgh on Friday?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think you'll find that Sam Masters, Ricky Wells and Eric Riss will be a different kettle of fish at Armadale on Friday night to what they were here a week past on Saturday. Our boys were on fire a week past on Saturday, certainly out the starts. Starts are pretty much the same way at Glasgow as that at Edinburgh, so I know Sam Masters some problems with clutches, you know, he's not been quite happy. I heard him mention it, and he's not been happy with set up, so let's hope that can continue through Friday night at least. But it depends. I mean, we know they're going to be tougher on their own track. Ricky Wells has started the season very well. I've seen the averages in the Speedway Star. Sam Masters is always good with Armadale, and Eric Riss started the season in blistering form. He's maybe tapered off a wee bit, but he's still pretty decent. But they're riding that track on the weekly. They're used to it. Obviously Richie and Richard, as you rightly touched on, have been there, but it depends, you know, weather-wise, how the track's set up, sort of thing. If Doc gets a good day, I'm pretty sure it'll be roughly the way it was maybe last week, sort of thing. So these things you've got to take into consideration. But Richie and Richard having had a meeting there, it won't do them any harm, that's for sure, yeah.
Just looking at the bigger picture, Stuart, how exciting is it for both Scottish sides to be up there? Although it's early doors in the season, look as if they've got a decent chance of challenging for playoff spots at the very minimum. How exciting is that for both sides of the divide here? It's
good. I mean, I know there's a rivalry, and you need to have it. We always like to beat each other, but at the same time, and John and Alex will probably admit it as well, when we go to the BSP meetings, there is a Scotch corner sort of thing. It's us two clubs against the rest of the league, because we're the only two Scottish clubs in it, really. So, and to have the two Scottish clubs up there holding the two top positions in the league at the moment, going into Friday night, is really good for Scottish Speedway. And you look at the league table, obviously Edinburgh are ahead at the moment. I think that, you know, and we're obviously close on their tails. and Friday night it sets it up. If it needed to be set up even more, you know, the fact is if we can go through there and win on Friday night, you know, we could end up knocking Edinburgh off the top, you know, and Edinburgh could increase. It's everything there. There's enough at stake already. But as you rightly say, the fact that we're occupying the top 2 positions in the league at the moment, it's good to see. And Scottish Speedway, the 2 teams, I think it's fair to say that the 2 Scottish clubs know how to put teams together. That's for sure. You know, there's 1 or 2 other good teams this year for sure, definitely. But Scottish clubs have stole a march at the moment.
Joshua Pickering. Ooh, probably one back home. It was my least favourite track, but I now like Rockhampton, so hopefully go back there in the near future. In a Australian point of view, because you got to follow the fellow Aussies, and Crumpy, he was the one, and he was the one to look up to, and yeah, that's at the moment. Thomas Gollett, Tony Ricardson, myself and Greg Hancock. The reason, because I've all looked up to all of them. There's no point putting Jason in, because I've raced against him and I've enjoyed every bit of that. So to race one of them guys and all of them guys will be a dream.
Big thanks to Stewart for joining us there. Colin, Stewart was speaking about there, we've got 2 teams now in Scotland where we're up pushing for league championships, and it can only be good for Scottish Speedway to have two good sides up there challenging in playoff positions and ultimately for titles.
Totally agree with you, but I think the bad thing is I think the Monarchs have got 4 and we've got 3, is
5,
that correct?
we've got 5.
Oh, beg your pardon. Sorry, my arithmetic isn't that good. But for the Tigers to win the league in 2011, was it? That was amazing, because really you just, you know, for what they were running with, the budgets and the riders, they just happened to hit a good team that year, and it was absolutely amazing. It was 4 trophies out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, never write them off, and they look as though they're coming back strong now.
Any trophies or titles with Glasgow during your time?
I would probably say, looking back, best season would be 1981. I think there was 19 teams in the league, really strong league, and all the places we were supposed to win it, we didn't. And all the places we weren't supposed to win it, we did. So we led the league quite a bit that season. I think we finished 5th. So that would probably be a highlight, especially with it being so competitive.
Do you think it was more competitive then than what it is just now?
Well, the comparison with the bikes changing is absolutely awesome. These bikes that behind us, this bike you see behind us, these are so different from the bikes that we rode, and ours were more, and people know why I'm saying it, a bit wobbly. There seems to be more weight and more speed in them now, and this lay down engine has made some difference to it, so I think it's really fast now.
Would you have preferred to ride now or back in the day?
No, probably back in the day, because you never know what was going to happen.
Mitchell, I'm sure you're fed up hearing these stories about the yesteryear as well.
Yeah, I've heard them all time and time again, and a lot of them were quite funny, so they're good to relive. And you know, I make sure, you know, if anyone from Australia comes over, I'll let him know to tell him a good story or two from back in the day.
Of course, Mitchell, you've been involved in these clashes from the Edinburgh and Glasgow side, I would assume. You realise the importance of these meetings to the fans, don't you?
Oh, it's massive, and yeah, it's good. I think it's good. You know, I've got to be on both sides. You know, you see how, you know, each team prepares for it, and you know what each team manager sort of expects of you as a rider. You know, a couple of them have had, you know, really good ideas to help boost morale, like coming up to a meeting and that. So, you know, a lot of that comes into it. You know, getting your team manager getting you going, or you know, trying to make it as fun and as enjoyable as possible, so you don't stress too much about things, and you know, things sort of just fall into place. Because you know, sometimes working too hard, you know, focusing on that result, you know, errors happen, and yeah, it's a lot of importance, but you know, you don't want to focus on it too much.
Obviously, we've seen against Sheffield, and perhaps maybe some of the other meetings the guys have been kind of complaining about is not getting able to get out to start, maybe as well as what they would hope. was last week a wee bit better for the guys? Was there a different attitude after last week's meeting against Workington?
Yeah, I don't know. It was still sort of a little bit iffy. For myself, Sam come in after Heat 1 saying, he wasn't happy with how the starts were. And then I went out in Heat 2 and I couldn't get the front wheel on the ground on the way to the first corner. So I was a bit confused myself in what was going on. Track-wise, it has been a little different. Last week, it was the first time proper sunny day that, they had to prepare for the track. So, it made it a little bit different. And then obviously it was quite cold late on once the sun went down. So, it again made it a little bit tricky. But yeah, to have a good win like we did was important. Once again, everyone testing out, how they're feeling after the injuries, after the crashes, and yeah, just to get that good vibe back in the group after what happened at Glasgow. It was a bit of a sore one to take, but it's only one meeting at the end of the day.
Actually, for some.
Yeah. So yeah, it's good just to bounce back straight away and get a good result. So you just keep building again from there.
Where do you see the match being won and lost? Is it heat leaders, reserves, second strings? What do you think?
I think everyone's got to sort of play their important role. In a way, you might be matched up against your opposite number. That's what your aim is, to outdo your opposite number. It might come down to that, but on track, I think a lot's going to come down to gating. Depending on the track and weather conditions again. But gating is so crucial that nowadays. So yeah, if we can make some good starts and not lose silly points, throwing away points is one of the hardest things to take. So if you're in a scoring position, you got to hold it down and make every point count. And that's what happens at the end.
Colin, you mentioned that Glasgow are top heavy this season, going with the big three: Aaron, Richard, and Richie. We've already seen Richard and Richie at Armadale this season scoring very well. Does it take for the three of them to have a very good meeting for the Tigers to push Monarchs?
Well, I think it'll be really important, but because if one of them's having a really bad off night, then the rest have got to do a bit more. Yeah. So you really need your top guys on the ball and going, and then if the young guys kick in with a few, I think it could be a tight match. I really do think it would be tight, because Monarchs are riding well.
Tom Perry at reserve has started really well for Glasgow. Is he one that's impressed you?
It is actually, because I managed to catch him at Birmingham in one of Mitchell's meetings in the other league last season, and I was really impressed with the guy. I thought, he's pretty good, but he's done more than I thought he would do at Glasgow. So yeah, it's a good find, I think.
Jack Smith is one that's maybe kind of struggled, like a lot of number 7s in the league. There's a lot of potential there, though, isn't there? He obviously comes for a good stock.
Well, as I say, at Birmingham last year, I managed to catch him as well, and he was a key element that night. I think he had 12 points or whatever, and he helped them win the league again. And I thought, geez, this kid's good, he's going. So when Glasgow signed him, I thought, they get a good one here, I think he's just maybe struggling with setups and his track, but I think he'll get there. But Fatherland Smith is bound to get there eventually.
Mitchell, yourself, you're doubling up. You realise how busy that is to double up. Jack's going through 3 leagues. How difficult is that to kind of maintain form?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like your level differences in the leagues. There is quite a significant jump from National League to Championship. It's just even the smallest things is how they prepare the tracks for the different leagues. There's a lot more dirt, a lot more ripped bits on the track for the Championship tracks. So National League's quite slick in that. So for a lot of the young boys, they're still adapting, trying to learn and get the setups right. But for Jack taking on 3 leagues, that's very, very busy schedule. But I get along well with Jack, and I know he's got a good group of people around him that are helping him along all the way. So that's it's half the battle. Just whereas I've got a really good crew with me as well. So you do your best with what you can, but at the end of the day, we all just love racing our bikes. So if you get the opportunity to ride as much as you can, you're going to do it.
Of course. Just the majority of Monarchs fans won't have seen Jack. What can we expect for Jack? What type of rider is he? Is he like his dad, a battler? Yeah,
Jack. He's a good gator too. So I raced against him at Stoke the other week and he outgated me. So he made me work hard, but I managed to get around him. I think coming off the second bend. Yeah, he's a good tidy rider. So, you know, I think he's just finding his feet. You know, he's still really young, like in terms of the sport. I think I'm probably nearly 10 years older than him. So, so it's a bit difficult like that. But yeah, you know, he's a real tidy rider. He's got excellent equipment. So once he finds his feet, you know, he might be a force to reckon with in the sport. But at the moment, you know, until he finds his feet, you know, you see his results are up and down a bit. He's starting to find his feet in Premiership with Bellevue. You know, he scored a good couple of points, and I think he even beat Hans Anderson in one race. So, you know, the potential's definitely there. So, you know, he might come to Armadale for the first time and absolutely fall in love with the place. We don't know. We'll find out Friday.
Of course, well, just take it back to your era slightly, Colin. Man, we're going to see Friday as Richard Lawson. Obviously, there's a lot of comparisons get through up because obviously his father Steve, who yourself was partnered with.
Right.
Is there similarities there? Are they the same type of rider?
Well, I think the only similarity I see with Steve and Richard is probably in the gating. But on the
Stevie
right
jump
front,
him as well?
well, no, I just think it was a natural. And if you look back at Steve's record and you look at any track records, his times were always fast. So Steve was fast anyway. But I would say Richard's a totally different type of rider. I think because he's scrambling background, he's a lot tougher. He's hard coming out the corners, and Steve was never like that. If you watched 20 races between him and Les Collins, amazing, the room they left one another. Great, good hard racing, but fair. I think Richard's a little bit harder, without a doubt.
Do you think that obviously Steve spent a long time at Glasgow, scored a lot of points? Do you think that Steve could have went on to bigger and better things? No offence to Glasgow.
No, I don't. Steve was really happy at Glasgow. Obviously, he stayed 15 years or whatever it was. I always thought myself personally, he could probably have won the Division 2 Riders Championship or our division countless times. You know, I just don't think. You know, I don't know why he never. But it was good enough to win it every year, and for whatever reason, whether it was different tracks or what suited him, what didn't suit him. I know that he never liked Exeter, and a lot of riders did, and Peterborough was another one that he wasn't awfully keen on, and possibly Newcastle. But another very other track, he was amazing. So hard to say.
Do you think he was the best rider that you came across throughout your career?
Probably. In our era, in our league, but if you want to go bigger, I think Jimmy Mack was quite hard to beat. I thought he was amazing, Jimmy McMillan. Yes, he was a hero of mine, without a doubt. Having said that, when he was team manager of Glasgow and he picked another junior over me, I told him where to stick his team. So a bit of disrespect, for which I'll apologise to on camera. He was a world finalist after all. Jimmy's great.
A lot of good memories though, I would assume, going through the years with Glasgow, and hopefully some stuff like this kind of regurgitates some of that stuff on.
Okay, there's nothing better, as I say, this Glasgow Edinburgh derby. But if you go back in the day to our day, I mean, Jimmy Beaton, it was kind of, you know, to keep the club running, he was putting the whole team in the bus, and we were picking the team up as we went down south, and that was to save money and keep the club running, and all these things are amazing. But it built up the team spirit within the team. We were always together, we were always in the coach, and gradually obviously they taught me to drive, and I took over a wee bit at the end, and Jim Beaton done a lot of it. So it was a great camaraderie. I wouldn't have swapped it.
What's your impression of Speedway nowadays? Because obviously you've got guys like our own number one Sam, who's maybe 6 meetings in 6 days in 6 different countries. I mean, what's your impression of Speedway nowadays? Like, because the riders all travel together but race against one another. It's a pretty strange situation when you think about it.
It's nowadays. I mean, don't get me wrong. The superstars back in the day were superstars. I'm talking about maybe Hyden Major, riders like him, Barry Briggs, and all these guys are out and out superstars. But as you say, rightfully, all these guys are. You know, if you watch, say, Ty Whiffen, his video. Jetting all over the place, this country one day, next country next day, hardly getting any sleep and what have you, and it's amazing. And they've got bikes in all the countries, and the expense of them putting this show on the road, and then you go to the Grand Prix and TV, fantastic. It's a different world now, totally.
Speaking of travelling, Mitch, you've got a pretty busy weekend ahead yourself. Armadale Friday, Eastbourne Saturday, Newcastle Sunday. It's pretty much local for you, really.
Yeah, it wasn't the best draw of the meetings that I come across when the fixture list came out, but you know, it's one of those things where you've got to get on and do it. You know, we'll be prepared to do it. You know, work hard this week, make sure we've got everything in order, and hit the road and just keep racing, keep driving. Yeah, I got Kenny and Stephen with me and Donna, and they're all, you know, able to drive, so we can take a turns driving, so that, you know, it's not a lot for just myself or anything like that. So yeah, it's just all comes down to preparation. You know, it's not favourable, but it's, if you're prepared for it, you can do it and hopefully get some good results along the way.
As we said there, Colin, obviously this is the modern day speedway rider. Did you have anything like that back in your day, where you had like kind of Glasgow one day, Eastbourne the next, back to Newcastle, or was it more a bit an even straight?
Well, we never advanced for a start. It was always cars and trailers. We'd have a 3-bike trailer, and the bulk of my career I travelled with the McKenna brothers up and down the country, and we would, for an example, we'd be at maybe Scunthorpe on a Monday, and then we'd have Crayford in London on a Tuesday, so we'd be in the car and down, and then back to work on a Wednesday, and then maybe back down again. So with the car and the trailer, it was awkward because you only so much in a car, and the bikes are on the trailer, so there's no room in that either. So these guys are spoiled now, absolutely spoiled. They've got bloody vans that can carry 4 bikes, they've got beds in them, they've got crew compartments where they can change. It's a whole different world. And we used to get endorsements rather than penalty points. Another thing was you weren't allowed in the driver's seat if you're under 70 miles an hour, because we were always late. Everywhere we went, we were late.
You mentioned there about working. That's kind of died out of speedway now, really. Like most riders, I say, would probably be full-time speedway riders. Is that kind of something that kind of annoys you slightly when you see a 3-point average rider in the Premier League taking it as a full-time job?
Aye, well, in my own instance, I was working a 2-man electrical squad at that particular time, my brother, and he raced speedway as well, my older brother. So I would leave him on a Tuesday, or to go to Weymouth, Thursday, as a one-off. I would leave him to wire the house himself, and then I would need to be back for 8 o'clock the next morning, tools in hand, ready to go, whether I was travelling all night or not. So it was really hard, enjoyable.
Of course. Armadale as a track, obviously it isn't one that you've rode, but is it one you would have liked to have ridden? What's your impression of it?
I think they would have needed some more air fence panels if I too small for me, far too small. I always needed a big massive track, even at the beach. I needed a big track. So, no,
it wouldn't have been your cup of tea.
No,
what was your record like against Edinburgh away from home, say Powder Hall for talking's sake? Was there any standout meetings there?
Just the one really that stands out. I'm pretty sure that the analysts can check up or whatever, the statistician people, but the one that sticks in my mind is at Powder Hall on a Wednesday night, and I'm quite sure it was a 16 heat formula, and I was number 2 as usual with Steve. In the first race, Brett Saunders, arch rival on the track, good guy off the track. I think he done something to me in the back straight. I nearly crashed anyway, and I thought, I was that damned angry. I chased after him, and here we passed Dave Trouncin, which I would never have done. I think we ended up with 5-1 and on to the best score that evening for 10-12 against the Monarchs. Never to be repeated. It was great. So sometimes the red mist descends, and I was in a tussle the next race with the legendary George Hunter. I think the both of us fell, and I lost the rag there, and then I got knocked off in heat 9. I think I ran the full length of Powder Hall only to get assaulted by the Monarch rider. But this is the rivalry that we're talking about, and it's second to none. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Heat 2, the riders from the inside are Colin Caffery, Mark Burrows, Jacko Irving and Scott Lamb. 3-all the score. And it's Caffery to the corner first. And Mark Burrows comes out of the first bend in front. Difficult to see through the cloud of shale, and it's Colin Caffery going past Burrows on the second and third bend. Scott Lamb seemed to to get the worst of the first bend tangle. And Jack Irving now pressing Mark Burrows for second place. Burrows going too wide up there, and Irving comes through. Burrows trying to fight back. Scott Lamb a long way back now. And Jack Irving now moved into second. One lap to go. Tigers now comfortably in a 5-1 position. Colin Caffery wins it, Jack Irving second and Mark Burrows third. And that's a good ride by the Tigers pair to come through past Burrows there. 5-1 to the Tigers. Score on the night so far. The Kishorn Winders Tigers 8, the Stelrad Monarchs 4. 8:15, Theo Piper, Craig Cook, Kevin Walbert and Justin Sedgman. Piper's away well. Sedgman on the outside. Sedgman may go ahead. Piper. Cook's at the back. Where's he going to go? Here comes Sedgman challenging Piper. Not much room for Cook to do anything, although he's roaring around the outside now. Sedgman's still there on the inside. Cook swings out wide, just having to work his way around his partner. Piper leads. Terrific chase by Cook. He's right on Piper's tail now. Where are we? This is the end of lap 3. Here comes Cook. Oh my goodness, what a speed he's gone through at. Piper cuts back. Cook's got it. He came from well back there. And he's done it again. Another Heat 15 victory for the incredible Craig Cook. Sensational racing. Great effort by Theo Piper, but Cook just refusing to be denied. Justin Sedgman there in the mix as well. Terrific speedway.
That's why he's the Premier League's #1 rider from Eastman to Penthouse, all in the space of 4 laps. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the man in red, Craig Cook.
Big thanks to Mike again for the blast for the past. There'll be more of that action coming up in part 2 of the preview show. But before we go, I must get a prediction from you, Colin, before we leave. What do you think the score's going to be Friday? Can you see a Tigers win or a Monarchs continuing at the top of the table?
Well, the Monarchs are really good round Armadale. It is a bit of a trick track. And I think if the 3 big guns are firing for Glasgow and Tom Perry and a few others chip in, Mr. Bewley, he had the season there, I think Tigers could just edge it.
You see the man to watch, Bewley?
I would think so.
Mitchell, Colin, thanks very much for joining us. Hope this rivalry doesn't stretch too far. We're only at Tuesday. I don't want it to get too heated before Friday. But as I say, you can join me for part 2 of the preview show. But we'll be joined by Josh Pickering and a few others. But until then, thanks very much for joining us.